Hey, welcome back to You Tuned In Me Not to Hear Me. I want to tell you thank you all for just taking the time out to listen to this wonderful program on Vibe AZ 24/7. This is part three of a four-part episode that I'm doing for you. And I call it Schools in Session. I talk to, in the first part, to my students. I talk to, in the second part, to teachers. Now I'm coming in this third part to administrators, those who are in care of teachers and students and buildings and organizations. I'm talking to you as administrators. So, in my 30 plus years, and over half of my experience has been as an administrator. The other half has been as a teacher. To be effective as a leader in a building, we have always said, and I'm speaking directly to those of you who are deans, especially deans of students, those of you who are principals, vice principals, if you are department chairs, if you are any administrative role, even down to the administrative secretaries, there's been a quality that you have to display. And I have to thank a very, very good mentor and a very dear friend of mine, Larry Holiday, for helping me to understand this. And I will tell you that I didn't always get it right as an administrator. I was really good as a teacher. I was very effective as a teacher. I would want to believe that I was very effective as an administrator, but I will tell you that I had my issues and my faults. And a lot of it came down to knowing when to say something and knowing when to just shut my mouth and be quiet. And I will tell you that the ego in being an administrator can destroy the culture of your building, or it can uplift an organization with its teachers, its students, and everybody that's in the care of that administrator. Larry Holiday wrote a note to me and he said, Dan, I don't want you to look at it until you get home. I want you to put it in your wallet. There's a little post-it note. He folded it up and he gave it to me. And I was having a really tough day. I was at a school on the west side of Chicago, um, with an organization that had great hopes and aspirations, but had also its own issues with culture and things like that. And I tried to put on my Superman cape and believe that I could lift that entire building up by myself. And I tried to put systems and things into place, but more than anything, I wanted to make sure that I started to care for my teachers, my students, the staff, from the engineering staff to the people that serve the food, anybody, the volunteers. But I will tell you, I struggled because it felt like a constant attack every single day. And I got into those moments of where I said to myself, what else could happen? And it was the wrong thing to say. And so, administrators, I'm talking to you, and I want you to hear me clearly when I say this. The note that Larry Holiday gave me was something so profound, and it wasn't very long. It was very simple. I got home after, I think that day, I suspended several kids. I went through an expulsion hearing. I had to reprimand a teacher for the way that they treated students and kept kicking them out. I dealt with some very irate parents and some parents that, turned back around on me and said some truths to me that I just didn't really want to hear. I had to deal with the fight that happened after school. I had to deal with a student who had, and I remember this day clearly, a student who had allergies, and I remember the bullying that was going on. It just was, and when I mean everything, everything under the sun that happened, it happened that day. And Larry's probably laughing if he's listening to this right now because I know he remembers it. I'm driving home and I get to a stop and I said, I wonder what he put in my wallet. I wonder what this note said. It was very simple. He said, Dan, wrote it down. Dan, remember, it's not about you. It's not about you. None of this is about you. Why are you taking it personal? That I'm adding to that. But literally, it just simply said, Dan, it's not about you. So profound from a man who was highly respected, took the same journeys I did, but as my mentor and as a person who sat on the board of that school, for him to just take the time out and to know that I was struggling and had been struggling, because this is probably mid-year sometime, or maybe it was in the first 2 months. I couldn't remember that. But him to say, it's not about you. I sat in my car and just shook my head and I wanted to cry. I was thinking about it all wrong. I kept thinking about it. What did I do wrong? What did I did this? And I do this. It's something I'm, what do I have to, and I kept thinking it was personal, it was about me. And for him to just simply put that down in a note, it made me want to cry, it made me want to laugh, but it made me reflect and just simply say, Dan, you can't take yourself too seriously in this. You cannot control all of these things that are around you. It's not going to happen. But if you take into the realization that it's not about you and you calmly think through the process of what's going on, you'll get through it. Doesn't mean necessarily that it's always going to be correct or right, but you will respect others. You will listen. You'll know when to speak and when not to speak because you'll keep telling yourself it's not about you. The two girls who got into it in the neighborhood and brought that mess back to the school, it ain't about you, Dan. It's not. It has nothing to do with you. But yet you have to handle it, right? Yeah, you got to put the rules into place and how to help teachers understand how to do this and how to help speak to young people. But it's not about you. It's nothing that you did wrong. It's just simply not about you. It's not about the teacher who's struggling to help kids who are not listening to her or him. It's not about you. You've given the training. You've done the things that you can. You visited the classroom. You've given pieces of advice. You've given them reading to do, but it's got nothing to do with you. If the kids' peanut allergy flared up, it wasn't because of you. They wanted to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They know they had no business doing that, but they wanted peanut butter and jelly because everybody else was eating. It's not about you. It's not. I'm laughing about it right now, and I hope you, as an administrator or somebody who's in care of leading a building, man, just take that to heart. It is really not about you. It really isn't. But in the same light, it will help you to take that pressure and release that from your head and from your heart, and that constant feeling of stress, and to relax and breathe through. There's something to be said about taking you out of the equation. I never liked administrators that yelled. I remember this one person who was a director over a campus that I was working at, and she just came in and she screamed and yelled all the time. And she tried to back it up by saying, this is effective to, ghetto children to help them to understand that they shouldn't be doing the things. I was like, no, it's not. I don't care what research you have. That's not going to help them. That's not going to make them endear to you because you're instilling fear because you're coming in and screaming and yelling and everybody's standing at attention. That's not. That's absolutely insane. But when you're in the midst of something like that and you have to, everybody's got a boss. I, I thought there was something wrong with me. And honestly, it's not about me. But I have to be in care of others. I've got to have a listening ear. I've got to be able to be calm. I've got to be able to, in the midst of a fire, know how to take me out of the equation and think through it very clearly so that I can support teachers, so that I can support students, so that I can give support to parents and the community. It's a thankless job. But for some reason, crazy enough, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I began to enjoy it more after Larry Holiday. He gave me that note. Dan, it's not about you. Take you out of the equation and look at it again. So, administrators, people who are heading up and in leadership, you got to take what I'm telling you to heart. Because if you don't, you'll take yourself out physically, mentally. You will slip up and say some things that you shouldn't have said. You'll do some things mentally and physically that you shouldn't have done. And it could possibly destroy your career because you can't simply take one thought, one idea. It's not about you and put that into play. I know that we say, ask for, do what you need to do and then ask for forgiveness. And an administrator, you don't have that much room to do that at all. And I'm passing this knowledge along to you because I have been there. I have done that. And I've had to remember the simple words of, it's not about you. With that being said, hey, we're going to be right back here on YouTube, Hear Me Not to Hear Me, on Vibe AZ 24/7, and also on the YouTube channel. Please take a look at YouTube, Hear Me Not to Hear Me, also on there. Hey, we'll be right back, guys.